If you're an attorney, there is one tactic that stands head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to growing your leads and getting more clients for your firm, and that's ranking first in Google search. How do I know this? Over the last 15 or so years, I've helped hundreds of attorneys and law firms try and get more leads from the internet in general. And after trying a number of tactics, there's one that stands head and shoulders above the rest, and that's SEO. That's free traffic from Google. Take a look at Brotman Law. This is one of our current clients at our agency. Over the last year, we helped them increase organic sessions over 200%, and also, because of that, increase prospective client call bookings 178%, all from free traffic. Another powerful example is from QA Law Group. This is one of our current clients as well. You can see how much their traffic has picked up. They don't pay for any of this traffic, but again, more importantly, the number of live chats that have come specifically from Google organic traffic, 1,100 over the last year. When you compare these results to the other results or lack of results that they're getting from other tactics like social media and paid search, you can see that SEO is a clear-cut winner, not just in terms of results, but also return on investment to get those results. Now, as an attorney, your money is made in the courtroom. Trying to do any sort of marketing, especially something like SEO, is a complete waste of your time. The only way to get these type of results realistically is to find a good partner, an agency or consultant, or to bring somebody in-house to do this for you as a full-time employee. By the end of this video, you are going to have a copy and paste SEO strategy that you can use in-house with your team. You can give to your current agency, or, we can talk about having us do it for you. But I know how busy you are, so let's get into it. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Ryan Stewart, and over the last 15 years, I've helped hundreds and thousands of businesses get more customers online. Now, I specialize in acquisition. I'm agnostic to channel. It's all about who my client is and what's best for them and what works best for them. In fact, to prove it to you, those 3 plaques that you see behind me, those represent $1 million in revenue that came from a single funnel from paid traffic using Facebook ads. So I don't just do SEO, I do everything when it comes to paid traffic, email marketing. It doesn't matter. It's all about what my client needs or what my business needs to get more customers that works best for them. So believe me when I tell you that SEO literally is the best option as an attorney to get more phone calls and leads for your firm. I think the easiest way to illustrate that is to beat back some of the other tactics. When we look at something like paid search or Google ads, right? That means when somebody types into Google and you see these ads up here, these are bought through Google if you don't know that. And I'm sure a lot of you are doing paid search. And if you are, you know exactly how expensive it is. We're talking hundreds of dollars sometimes per click. So when you do the math in terms of what you're paying versus how many of these end up turning into customers, you could be paying thousands and thousands of dollars per customer. Now, if you're a PI attorney whose cases can range in the millions, that can work for you. But at the same time, if you're not closing these cases and winning cases at the same pace of what you're spending, you can be upside down in your marketing very quickly and for a very long time. Paid ads also require a contractor, a specialist to run these for you. So not only are you paying Google for the ad spend, but you're also paying an agency to run these for you. The costs add up very quickly. When it comes to paid social, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads, it doesn't convert very well. And again, I know this because I spend a lot of my time running paid traffic on social media for my businesses and for clients. And the reason it doesn't bode well on social media is because you got to get people to stop scrolling and pay attention to your messaging. Nobody's on Facebook to see an ebook about successful divorce, and nobody's on Facebook or Instagram to hire an attorney right there. Attorneys are point of interest, point of need, meaning they go to Google and they search for an attorney when they need one. And we'll talk more about the buyer journey as we get through this so you can really see how powerful SEO is and how simple it is once you get it dialed in. But the same thing here, they don't convert, so you end up spending a lot of money for nothing to show for it. Now, organic social is just too much work. Now, I'm not going to tell you to not get on TikTok and do your dance moves if that's what you want to do. I'm all about it. TikTok is a great platform, so is Instagram, so is Facebook, so is YouTube. But again, having worked with attorneys intimately over the last decade, I know how busy you are and I know where your attention should be. And when it comes to organic content on social media or any content on social media, it requires a lot of your time and energy. Even if you hire an agency, if you hire a consultant or somebody in-house, there's still an element of work for you that needs to go into it. And when it comes to SEO, you don't have to do anything. That's kind of the best part. Honestly, I don't even really want to go into my rant on out-of-home ads, bus benches, radio spots, all that stuff, because it's kind of ingrained and entrenched in the attorney industry, right? I see these on bus bench ads all the time down here in Miami. Now, I'm not saying these don't have a place. If you are a huge firm with hundreds of locations and thousands of attorneys, then yes, you are at the point where you're trying to reach the mass market, and brand awareness and reach is everything because you have spent spent all you can spend in terms of exploiting other channels, search, paid ads, etc. But these do not help you get customers right away. This is a long-term branding play, and it's very expensive, and honestly, they don't really work. I mean, when was the last time you saw a bus bench ad and made it and called them? Again, I'm not saying that these are hurting you. I'm just saying that if your primary focus is acquisition, your money is not going to be well spent on out-of-home ads. Now, to combat that with a little bit of positivity, let's talk about why SEO is so impactful for attorneys. Well, what I love about organic traffic is it grows in perpetuity, right? Whereas ads, every dollar you put in, you get the same amount, and you have to spend more in order to make more. It's more of a staircase, and also your acquisition cost goes up with it. Organic search grows in perpetuity over time. There's plenty of more keywords that you can exploit, and you get this hockey stick growth. And when you get this hockey stick growth, what does that mean? It means that your marketing spend stays the same, but your results are going up. That means your ROI grows exponentially with you when it comes to organic search. It's not like that with anything else. With organic social, you have to put in so much time and energy to get a return that your effort goes up with it, which means more resources spent, so it trails up with your results. Your margins is locked in that difference. Same thing with paid traffic. You got to spend more to make more, but organic search grows like a hockey stick. It is a beautiful and very powerful thing. SEO takes 0% of your time. Now, I've got a little plug in here for our agency, because obviously we can do this for you, but any agency can do it for you. Any good agency is going to take every part of SEO off your plate. Again, as an attorney, I'll say this for the third time, your time is best spent in the courtroom for closing deals, not writing content, not figure out link building, not working on the website. Go do what you do best, which is helping people out, win their cases, and build time. SEO is really the only marketing channel that takes 0% of your time. And of course, organic traffic converts. There's nothing more powerful than somebody going to Google and typing in exactly what they want and finding your website right here. The conversion rate is higher than any other channel, including paid ads, because people know that they're ads. People want to see an organic listing. They want to work with an organic listing. It's all in the data. All right, let me step off my soapbox here. Hopefully I've convinced you that SEO is a very powerful tactic and should be where your focus is. Now let's get into my strategy. It's a very simple 4-part strategy. I'm all about simplicity. I'm all about Pareto's principle, focusing our time and energy on doing things very, very, very well, very high quality on the things that are actually going to move the needle. 20% of your input drives 80% of your output. That is the most true statement when it comes to SEO. So what should you be focused on? Again, this is a 4-part process for us. Number 1 is the local aspect of things. Optimizing your Google business profile, getting listed on important aggregator websites, getting citations built out, and reviews. And I'm going to dive into all these in detail in the rest of this presentation. I just want to run you through this real quick. Number 2 is your website. Make sure that it's technically sound, making sure that you have the right structure, you have the right pages, and you've got a place to create content. Number 3 is content, right? And this is very simple. This is all about moving quote unquote up funnel to create content that informs and educates. And do not worry, I'm going to unpack this and show you examples in the coming minutes. And finally, here's all about links. And this is all about building authority and building trust with search engines, getting mentioned on legal blogs, getting mentioned in the press, and then doing a little bit more aggressive link building. Now, again, I know some of this might not make sense to you off rip, but I'm going to dive into each one of these in detail. And again, I'm going to arm you. I'm going to make you a savage when it comes to talking about SEO. You're going to know exactly what to talk about and exactly what to look for in these buckets. And I promise you, if an agency comes to you and they're pitching all sorts of crazy things, if you don't see it in here, you don't need to do it. They know you make a lot of money. They know that you need SEO, and they are trying to upsell you. Trust me, I've been doing this for longer than they have. So let's start off by talking about number 1, local. This is exactly what you need to do to rank in local search. So when I say local search, what I'm talking about is when you type in something localized, right? Whatever your service is or your practice area is times a location here. So DUI attorney Miami, it triggers what we'd like to call the maps pack. This is where you see these reviews, you see a little bit about the business, you see the directions, and also the maps. This is the maps pack. This is where a large majority of the clicks in localized searches come from. So it's really important that we spend a little time doing local optimization, because this is where you're going to get a lot of phone calls from. So not to overly confuse you, but there are multiple algorithms that play within Google, and the local algorithm that triggers this is different than the main one where you see all the blue links below. There is some overlap, but it does require its own optimization process. And in a nutshell, that local optimization process is all about optimizing your Google business profile, which I'm going to show you in a second, and getting positive reviews across the web. That's really it. Everything else will be taken care of in the other part of SEO that we go through in the rest of it. So when it comes to optimizing for local search, there's really 4 parts of this that we really want to attack, again, with high quality and a high attention. The first is making sure that your business is set up properly in Google Business Profile. So if you literally just go to Google and type in Google Business Profile Manager, you will get access to this. You just have to log in through your Gmail account, and you'll be able to create and verify your location. Now, you do need a physical office location in order to do this. That's very, very important. So if you do not have a physical office location, you need to get one, even if it's just a very simple Regis office, something with a physical address, because Google actually physically physically mails you a card, right, to verify that you have it, because Google doesn't want a bunch of fake businesses ranking here and then people, try and show up in person and they're not really there. It's a bad look for Google. So you do have to have a verified listing here. If you need help with that, hit the link below, contact us. We'll get you all set up there. It's very, very simple and easy. But for every market that you're in, if you're in Miami, if you're in LA, if you're in Denver, you need to have a physical address and you need to get it verified. It's going to make night and day difference when it comes to ranking in organic search. You literally can't rank in local search if you do not have a verified business profile. So the optimization process here is pretty simple, right? We want to make sure that we just have everything updated. So the things that we want to have updated there are your info, right? Address, hours. We want to make sure that you have your categories tagged here. Everything that you can fill out here, do it. That includes adding photos, inside, outside, your team, all the different attorneys, maybe some content that you have. This is for our agency, by the way. It's not for an attorney. For privacy reasons, I can't show you attorney stuff, obviously. And the final piece here is reviews, right? Making sure that we're getting reviews or responding to reviews. You can't delete reviews per se, so it's really important that the reviews that we do get, if they're negative, that we respond to them, and we do a little outreach, which we'll talk about in a second, to try and get them cleaned up. The final piece here is just adding some posts. I actually don't have any posts here. This is a somewhat new feature, but again, it's all about freshness, relevancy, and showing Google that this is an active business that services the local area, that cares about our presence. That's really what it comes down to, housekeeping. This is something that we do for our clients. Again, this is not really something that you're going to want to spend a lot of time on, but it is important to go through here and understand that this is a very important part of the process that you cannot skip over if you want to rank in local search. We talked about business setup. We talked about the business activity. The next big thing here is reviews. So there's a number of platforms that we want to get reviews on. This is probably the biggest signal to Google to rank you, is if you have a very active, again, local presence and you're getting the right type of reviews from past clients or colleagues, people in your network. It is a humongous ranking signal. I mean, for example, if I just Google Miami DUI attorney here and we flip down here, you can see the 3 in here, 164 reviews, 697 reviews, 129 reviews. These are all on their Google business profile. These are incredibly important and incredibly powerful ranking signal to Google that you have an active business and that people want to see. Now, there's other platforms too. Expertise, Hustia, FindLaw. These are all very, very important review aggregator websites that are an important part of the search process too. So you want to make sure that you have active profiles on these. Again, the easiest way to understand which of these you should have active profiles is to search for your main keyword and see what comes up, because people are going to searching for this, they're coming to Expertise, and then they're using this now as their Google, right? So while this is not part of Google, this does have an important impact on who is actually going to get phone calls and who's going to generate the leads from that search. So it's important that you have a profile here and you have it optimized and you're actively soliciting reviews, because Google will also look at these reviews and then factor that back into the ranking algorithm. So it's incredibly important that you understand which platforms to be active on and that you're constantly soliciting reviews. Now, if you don't have reviews or you don't know how to get reviews, the easiest thing that you can do, we have something in the software world we call NPS, Net Promoter Score. It's basically a 1 to 10 survey that you'll send out to your customers to see what their level of satisfaction is. So what you can do is you can send out a mass email to all your past customers, anyone you've worked with in the past, and just say, hey, on a level of 1 to 10, what was your level of satisfaction with our service? Anything above an 8, then you should reply to them and say, hey, would you mind leaving us a review on these platforms here? It goes a very long way to helping us help more people just like we've helped yourself. So literally email outreach to past customers, especially past happy customers, right? Ones that you know that you've helped, is the easiest thing to do. You have your secretary do it, you can do it. It doesn't take more than an hour per month to just constantly solicit reviews, and keeping them coming through is incredibly important to your ranking and also to your conversions. It's not just about SEO. This is also about building a holistic presence in Google, not just ranking first, but if you're ranking 5th and you have better reviews, then you're probably going to steal a lot of that attention and siphon that into yours. So it's not just about ranking first, it's also about capturing that and converting it as well. The final piece on the local side here is just citations. So these are formal listings of local businesses and local business directories. Again, this is something that we do for our clients. I'm not going to teach you how to do this because it's incredibly time consuming, but again, just know that you need these. These are the 4 main elements of local search: setting up your Google business profile, keeping it active, keeping it updated, getting it cleaned up and building the foundation right, reviews, this is like 70% of it, and then also getting the citations built and keeping those updated and managed. So that was local. Now we're moving into part 2, which is all about getting your website built properly. I'm going to tell you the exact pages that you need on your website to get ranked in Google, and I'm going to take you through with actual examples. I'm sure you know these firms, Morgan & Morgan, Rubenstein Law. These are 2 massive law firms, right? Somebody used these as examples as I walk you through because they crush it in organic search. And again, I understand that they're at the top, but it's always good to see who's at the top, and then we can reverse engineer what they're doing because they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on SEO per year, and it is paying off for them insanely. So just off the back of that, the slide is perfect because your website and really a lot of your SEO will depend on how your firm is set up, right? So if you're a single practice area, right, you do DUIs and you do it in a single market in Miami. That's number one. That's going to dictate how you set up your structure, how you set up your homepage, how you set up your targeting, and I'm going to talk you through that. The next one up is multi-practice area, right? So you do DUIs, you do immigration, and again, I know that you might not do those things, but I'm just saying you do multiple practice areas in a single market in Miami. The next one is a single practice area. You do DUIs, but you do it in multiple markets. You do it in Fort Lauderdale, you do it in West Palm Beach, you do it in Denver, you do it all over the place. And the final one is like Morgan & Morgan here, multiple practice area, multiple market. You do a little bit of everything and you do it all over the country. Now these 4 different buckets here, again, are going to dictate how you set up and structure your website, which is incredibly important to how you rank in Google. So I'm going to start off with the bare minimum. I'm going to talk about the 5 pages that you absolutely need to have on your website in order to rank. Start here and then build off the back of this. Now the first page obviously is going to be the homepage, and this is critical to understand which of those 4 buckets that your firm fits into. Make sure that you're getting your website targeted correctly. You can see here Morgan & Morgan, again, they've got dozens of practice areas, they've got hundreds of locations across the country, but on their homepage they've decided to target as America's largest injury firm. What they've done here is they've gone up the ladder in terms of their targeting, right? They didn't do specifics of like a location and a single personal injury or slip and fall injury. They just broadened it out to injury firm, right? Because what they wanted to do is create an umbrella at the very top, their homepage, which is your most powerful page, that incorporates the entire firm, right? Talks about everything that you do as succinctly as possible. And then you use the inner pages for locations and practice areas to rank those for the individualized searches, slip and fall injury, personal injury, car accident, and then also by location. Now, if you're a single practice area, single location, then you're going to want to target the homepage with your, Miami DUI attorney. If all you do is DUIs and you're only in Miami, then your homepage is going to take over that targeting. But as you grow and hit more locations, then you use these location dropdowns and practice area dropdowns to target those, multiple service, multiple locations. So again, it's really important that you understand the distinction so you understand how to target your most important powerful page on your firm. The next one up is going to be the practice area pages. This is Rubenstein Laws. You can see this is their slip and fall injury page. This is the URL here. You can see that they've done a nice job adding in this practice areas subfolder, right? What that does, it helps Google to organize and compartmentalize information. So when Google is crawling your website and trying to understand what it is that you do and how to rank and serve you to customers, it's important to use these subfolders to keep these pages organized. And that's the same thing when it comes to locations or practice areas or anything that you have multiple pages, again, in that tree, right? So if we start at the home page at the top, practice areas is then down underneath that, and then underneath practice areas, if you have multiple practice areas, you're going to want to create a very in-depth page for each one of those. Now, a quick tip on these pages, because this is something that we work with clients a lot on, is making sure to add depth and context and information for all these. You can see here, this is not an overly deep page. They're able to get success and rank it because of the overall authority and power of this firm when it comes to Google. Google trusts this brand. They got a ton of links, which we'll talk about in a moment, don't worry. But if you don't have as much, you're going to want to put as much information as possible on here. Not to overload people, not to get them overwhelmed, but I would put some FAQs in here. Again, if you're going after a local service area, make sure to localize it with the language that you're doing. Maybe put a map, an embedded map of where you are, some reviews on here as well. Anything you can do to help people understand that, because when people are looking for information like this, slip and fall injury attorneys, there's so much that, you probably get a bunch of garbage leads too from people who are not qualified. The more information you can put on here to help people out, the better you can qualify them, the better you can rank, and the overall better quality that you're going to have from your leads, right? You could even put something on here about like when to contact an attorney, not just saying contact us like this. So the next page type is going to be about or attorneys page. So you definitely want to have an about page that talks about you, your ethos, where you're located, and of course, any attorneys that you have. And I love if you have multiple attorneys, right, to give them their own individual pages, because as these attorneys go out and they win cases and they, maybe they're active on social media, people are going to be searching specifically for these attorneys. And you want to make sure that you're capturing that search, right? If somebody's funneling them into your ecosystem. Easy way to pick up traffic and some phone calls by just creating attorney and case pages. Next one is your contact page. Now, a lot of attorneys just have a very generic contact page. Something that we love love working with our attorney clients on is coming up with something that's a little bit more value driven, right? Not just saying contact. He still has a contact page for general inquiries, but a free, no obligation discovery call, right? He does tax law. And these small little changes in terms of positioning and designing your quote unquote offer, as we call them, it just helps with conversions, right? So again, we're not only focused on just getting more people to the website, but also when people are there, how can we make this easier? How can we facilitate this? And how can we get them a little bit more excited and a little bit more responsive to when we're trying to contact them? Small changes like this make a very big difference in your marketing and your performance. Next one is going to be results and testimonials. Now, I understand that you might not be able to show all of your results for privacy and legal reasons. And if you can't, right, I mean, the more results are incredibly important in any business. It's social proof, right? Once people get to the website, they know what you do. Now they want to understand if you can handle their case. Results is the best way to showcase that. If you can't do that, then testimonials is good as well. And again, what I would recommend here is pulling through your testimonials from Google My Business, from Avo, from Hoostia, anywhere that you're soliciting those and pulling them onto this page. A little bit of an advanced SEO tip here too, but if you're able to get reviews and pull them through, you can see here, this is called schema. This is called structured data. When you pass down here with your eyeball, this one sticks out because this rating, these big bright yellow stars are pulling through. They've been able to do this by pulling reviews onto the page and then adding what's called schema markup. This is something that your agency is going to have to do for you. It's a little bit complicated, but the reason why this is so important is because, like I said before, it's not just about getting to rank, it's about getting people to click. If you can steal clicks from the first place one here because you have 5-star reviews here, which I promise you that they do, it's going to go a very long way to help your case. Now let's talk about 3 pages that would be nice to have. The first one is FAQ. Again, the more information that you can provide people here going through this very complex process, the better. FAQs are great for search, but they're also great for people who are just looking for information without calling you and bothering your sales team or your secretaries. Another one is scholarships, and this is a bit of an advanced tactic here, but what these pages do is they can pick up inbound links from other websites. So when we get into the link building portion of this, you're going to see and understand a little bit more why this is so important. But by having this page on the website, other websites, press websites, legal websites, school websites, right, in terms of universities, local, will link to this page to send people to it to know that they can apply for a scholarship here. So if you offer a scholarship, create a page about it, and I promise you will pick up some inbound links pretty naturally. It's very, very, very powerful stuff. And again, I'm gonna give you more context on this in a few moments. And the last one here is Spanish. I understand you might not speak Spanish, but you know, Spanish is really taking over. I'm in Miami, so I'm a little bit biased here, but I know for a fact some of our clients who have translated their websites, their leads have doubled in pretty much a month. It's very, very powerful stuff. And it's not that difficult to hire a company to field phone calls in Spanish, and then you figure it out from there. Who can service his leads as they come in. All right, moving along into part 3. Now we are going to talk about the content that you need on your website. Content is something that's always misunderstood, especially when it comes to an agency talking to a client about content. I'm going to break it down for you very quickly. Content is where most of your traffic is going to come from. This is a pretty important graphic here, right? Your practice area pages are probably going to drive about 20% of your traffic, 25% of your traffic, just because there's just not as much search volume around. Like, you can't make people search more for Miami DUI attorneys, right? But the information that we create around it is going to pick up a ton of traffic, and it's going to put people into our ecosystem. Now, again, this isn't direct marketing traffic. When somebody sees a blog post or a piece of content, do they instantly become a lead like they would here? No, absolutely not. But this is all about spreading your footprint and growing that exponential hockey curve. A lot of that is going to come from information and education-based content. And what we want to do is we want to aim to inform about the legal process. There is a ton. I'm talking about millions of search volume out there for people who are not quite ready for your services yet. Maybe they haven't gotten a DUI yet, or they haven't decided if they want to sue for slip and fall yet, and they're just looking for information. They need help with that understanding and that process. And what we want to aim to do at a minimum of 1 post per week. And as an agency, what we do here, we just bulk out content. We'll do like 20 pages and then just drip it out, schedule it out over a week, and then promote it to audiences to get it some eyeballs. As I mentioned before too, and we'll continue to talk about this, but it's critical for gathering links. Like I said with that scholarship page, right? Keep that in mind as we go through content and we get into the link building section of this. You'll understand why that's so important. So let's talk about the content that you need to create. I like to use what's called a funnel, very simple marketing funnel, but I simplified it to only 3 stages for the attorney process because you don't need a ton of layers of content here. The first is what we call the top funnel, right? The awareness level. So this is high level searches relevant to your target audience, right? To your client, but not related to your brand or to your service yet. yet. So there's no purchase intent. So they're not looking for an attorney yet at this point, right? However, they could be searching for something like Miami DUI checkpoints. Again, these people are putting themselves in market. Maybe they've had a DUI in the past. Maybe they know someone who's had a DUI in the past. Maybe they're unfortunately preparing to go out and drive and drink. But either way, right? If we can create content around this, and I'll show you a good example of this, it's an easy way to siphon that traffic and pull people into our ecosystem. The next one down is middle of funnel, or what we call discovery level traffic. So these people are in market for your service, but they're unaware who you are, right? So the searches are a little bit deeper in intent, right, in the funnel and much closer to purchase. So for example, if they're searching for a product recall, right? Like, I don't know, like purple mattress product recall. Maybe they bought it, maybe they saw it in the news, maybe they're looking for an attorney to help them out with the representation. So you can see here, this is different. Instead of searching directly for the bottom funnel one here, so the consideration of bottom funnel when they say ready to get in touch based on their need for an attorney, right? So instead of searching this, they're one step above that. There's so much opportunity in this level. So much opportunity in this level. And this is really where we want to focus and zero in on, is that mid-funnel traffic. These pages down here are going to be taken care of by your service pages, right? Your practice area pages. And these are going to be like Miami DUI attorney, call a Miami DUI attorney, contact, hire, find Miami DUI attorney, and all the different variations within that. So when I talk about content, right, I'm talking about top and mid-funnel content up here, awareness and discovery level traffic. This is how we scale your growth exponentially. So here's a good example. You can check out the link of the DUI checkpoint article. This is on an attorney website. Again, it's literally just a list of DUI checkpoints in that local area. Again, easy way to siphon and funnel traffic. Here's one on Morgan & Morgan about gas cans that were recalled. Again, putting a simple page up like this, getting people who are searching for this, and then coming in and calling you because they need an attorney to help represent them. And then of course, bottom funnel, we're just talking about our practice area pages. I already showed you this example of the slip and fall on Rubenstein Law. Now, for most of us out here, the 99%, the non-Rubenstein laws and the non-Morgan & Morgans, the meat is in the middle. What I mean by that is this. This is where we want to focus 80% of our content, is content that has intent, but not quite ready to hire us intent. This right here is what I talk about too. It's not just about scaling traffic, it's about scaling phone calls. This is where we're going to win with you the most. All right, so the fourth and final piece of this is all about links. Now, links is often something that's commonly misunderstood or commonly miscommunicated from agency to client. I say that lightly, but this is all about building authority with Google. If you get mentioned on other websites, right, especially legal websites, and they link back to you as attribution, similar to how you would footnote a contract, right? If you're a footnote in somebody else's article, that footnote is a link. That is a tremendous signal to Google that you're popular, people are talking about you, and that you deserve to be shown in Google results. So here's a very crude example, write an article on TechCrunch. There's an HTML link here that's linking to this auto blog here. This link right here is literally, it's kind of like a vote popularity contest. That's the simplest way I can describe it. And it is a huge ranking signal with Google. It literally tells Google about popularity and that people are talking about you. You're an active and you're a powerful business that deserves the real estate in Google. Now, links come in many different forms and they are not all created equal. Now, here's a very quick and dirty diagram that I put together here. Now, this is just a simple quad chart. On the bottom axis, we have traffic, high traffic, low traffic websites, right? And on the left, we have authority, high authority, low authority. Authority is an SEO term. It's deemed kind of ironically, the number of links that a website has, the more authoritative it is, right? So we look at Forbes. It's a very high traffic, high authority website. Getting a link from Forbes is going to be much more powerful than, getting a blog comment mention on a low traffic, low authority website, right? Some random blog in the corner of the internet. Google's not really going to count that nearly as much as they count this. In fact, they're probably not going to count this at all. So the focus needs to be on high authority, high traffic, highly relevant too. That's the other thing. If you can get on the legal journal versus Forbes, that's 10 times more powerful because it's in the legal space. So authority, relevancy, and traffic are all key factors here when it comes to getting links that are actually going to move the needle. So when it comes to attorney link building, there's really three types that we want to try and target here. The first and most powerful is what I call PR links, right? So here's a story about John Morgan in a business journal, and they link back to his website with this link right here. Getting this link right here, I just put this little emoji here, money is money in the bank, right? If you can get a couple of these per month, 5, 10, you're gonna make a lot of money with organic search. Now the challenge here is twofold. One is that these types of links are expensive. You gotta hire a PR company. They're probably gonna cost you anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000 per month, depending on the quality of it. Two is coming up with stories that are worthy of being news. The news, as we know, I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, right? right? There's so much information. It's mostly entertainment-based news. So we have to understand how to craft stories that's going to want us to be covered in a PR outlet, right? Because the better story that we come up with, the better place that you're going to be featured. So being able to figure this out, I'm telling you, is money in the bank. We have a ton of PR companies that we partner with for some of our more top tier, attorney clients who are willing to spend that type of money for the exposure, because it's not just about SEO. This is also a branding exercise. It's also client getting exercise. Getting featured in press is just proven to help out with everything from a marketing point of view, but especially from an SEO point of view. So if you can afford to get PR links and invest in a good PR company, strongly recommend this. This will take care of all your link building needs for the foreseeable future. The next one, number 2, is what we call HARO links, right? And HARO stands for Help a Reporter Out. Help a Reporter Out. Basically, it's a website. It's a platform where reporters go in and every day they list out the things that they need. They need quotes from experts for articles. So like, I need a legal expert to talk to me about the product recall on gas cans, right? They'll literally send these emails out to PR companies, to our company too. We actually monitor this platform as well. And what we'll do is we'll scan through it for our clients and we'll find stories that we feel like our clients can add value to. So you're essentially an expert that they're looking for a quote from. And in that quote, they'll actually give you a link back to your website. This is a very, very powerful, much more cost effective, but not quite as powerful as PR because it doesn't scale quite as well. It's a lot more effort and energy, but we do this for our attorney clients all the time. This type of service for us costs anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 per month, and we'll generally return, so about half of what PR costs, and generally returning the same amount of links. Very, very good links, right? But it's also a little bit of a slower process because we have to manually pitch. With a PR company out of the box, they come with a relationship. They're like, oh yeah, no, we've done this before. We'll just send a few emails and you're good. So a PR company will speed things up, whereas HARO link building will take a little bit more time, but this is incredibly impactful as well. This, when it comes to an SEO value, right? HARO links are just as good as PR links. But when it comes to a promotional value, PR links are going to be a little better, just because, getting on Forbes is more of a branding moment than getting on, a random attorney website. But again, from the SEO value, from the SEO ranking power, these are just as good. And the final one, and this is usually more for beginners here, is falling back on bloggers, right? So what we'll do here for clients as well is we build a big database of legal websites, legal blogs that we've worked with in the past, and then we send manual pitches to them for inclusion. That could be like, hey, we'll write an article for you, or like, hey, do you need a quote? Or like, hey, we found this error, can we fix it? We have a whole bunch of different tactics that we'll send out, but the goal here again is to get featured on legal relevant blogs. Now these ones, again, in this game, you pay for what you get for. PR is the top, HARO is a very close second, and bloggers are a third. A lot of the times what we'll do, especially for clients that are looking to get very aggressive with their growth, is we'll do a combination of all three. And this will allow us to pick up much more links in a much shorter time period, which will help to boost rankings and also keep rankings to get them to stick. Link building is something that you want to do as an ongoing basis. It's not like a campaign that you do once a year. You want to try and aim to get 5 to 10 links per month over a 12-month period. And if you can do that, if you can get any one of these 3 types of links 5 to 10 per month, you're going to get a lot more traffic and you're going to get a lot more phone calls. So I know what you're thinking, this is a lot, is it worth it? And in short, yes it is, because the numbers work out in your favor. The biggest challenge I think with SEO is that it does cost a good amount of money, and especially up front, and it takes a little bit of time for it to kick in. So you're being asked to invest in really 3 months up front before you start to see that return. But again, with SEO, and fortune favors the bold, as we say, if you can push through that and get to that hockey stick growth, your ROI is insane. It's insane, which is why so many SEO agencies charge attorneys a premium, because we know how much money you make an insane amount of money off SEO. You know it, I know it. And that's why a lot of attorney SEO agencies charge so much, because they understand the return on what they're doing is going to drive exponential growth in your business. The biggest discrepancy in cost, as I said, really comes when it comes to links, right? Because SEO strategy and content, it's pretty stable with us, but when we partner with our attorney clients, depending on what level they can invest in, and we always tell you to go upmarket and invest a little bit more because it's going to return faster and it's going to return stickier. In SEO, you get what you pay for. If you try and cut corners and pay someone less money, you're just not going to get as good results. That's just what it is. And the best thing about SEO is that it's super easy to measure, especially ROI and expected return. And you can do this by just using your website's data. And our agency, our engineering team actually built a tool to help us do this. So what it does is we take data from your Google Analytics account, your past performance, right? And we'll do an analysis on that. Then we'll take data from the market, from your competitors, all their keyword data, and we jam it into a database. And what we now have is we have a little bit of history on your past performance. And then we also understand what the total addressable market is for all your keywords based on your competitors. And then we run some growth models. And what it can do is it tells us what the expected return on an SEO campaign is. We can accurately forecast how much traffic traffic you could and should be getting. And with that, what we then do is just look at the conversion rate of your website and we say, okay, in month 1, you can expect 10%. In month 3, 40%. In month 10, 120% more traffic. And when we take that traffic and we can multiply that against what your website's conversion rate is, or how many people come to your website and end up calling or submitting a form. And once we do that, then we know exactly how many new leads you could be getting and also how much more revenue that you will be getting from an organic search campaign. And this tool is incredibly powerful because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of SEO. It takes a lot of that, well, I don't know what this is going to return. I don't feel like just spending money. I could be doing this, I could be doing that, I could be doing bus bench ads. Please don't. So that's literally why we built this tool. And I want to give you a special offer for us to run this tool for you absolutely free. We usually only run this for clients, but I'm happy to run this on your website if you're an attorney. All you have to do is hit the link below. It'll take you to a form, book a time with our growth team. We'll get the data inputs that we need, and then we'll run it for you the next day. It is incredibly powerful and is an absolute game changer. So if you're interested, all you have to do is hit the link below. And if not, just like, comment, leave me something on this video that's nice, and I'll see you in the next one.